Biden's border policies have led to an explosion in the forced prostitution of migrants in the United States. The Free Press investigative reporter who's been digging into that is Maddie Rowley. She joins me now. Thank you for writing the piece. It can't have been easy, and you're going to tell people about it in a moment. But I just want to show these statistics really quickly. This is the number of children who have been issued letters, are called letters of eligibility, to children who have escaped from their handlers. And as you see the numbers, in 2017 it was 506, bounces around a little bit from there, but in 2021 and 2022 to 23, you have over 2,000 of these. And these are just the people who escaped. So Madeline, tell us about what you went to find and what was your conclusion?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Dana. So I traveled down to Dallas and I shadowed a private investigator for the Shepherd's Watch Foundation, and they work to bring down sex trafficking rings all across the country because local and state law enforcement, they're totally inundated. So Shepherd's Watch comes in, and private investigators who work there help local law enforcement bring down some of these rings using intel. What struck me the most is just how easy it is to order a migrant girl or woman off a platform. And we're not talking the dark web here. We are talking just regular websites that are specifically meant, for sex solicitation. I spoke with a private investigator who told me that within 3 months of Biden opening the border in 2021, the ads for migrant women and girls shot up to 90%. 90% of the ads that she was seeing across the state of Texas were for migrant women and girls. So, this is clearly a problem that has shot up, as you showed in your graph. Mm-hmm. And I did have to FOIA the federal government to get those numbers, which again showed that, since Biden has been in office, the number of child eligibility letters given out have tripled.
And those are just the people who escaped. How many do you think are being held? And also, in your piece, you said it's not just women and girls, though that's the majority. There are young men and boys who are included.
That's correct. I mean, it's impossible to say how many of these, children, young women and boys are still being held by their traffickers. It's a big problem. We're seeing it all throughout the country, especially with Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. They are known for human trafficking. But yes, this is also an issue with males. And this is something that I didn't know, and I think most people know. There's a shelter down in Texas, the only shelter for males in the U.S. who have been trafficked, and they care for, they have some migrant residents who have been sex trafficked. And they're finding there that the difference between perhaps the males and the females who are being trafficked is that the males are brutally tortured. Cartel and gangs, they brand them, tattoo them. There have been reports where fingernails have been pulled out, lemon juice poured on open wounds to keep them in line. So when I spoke to the executive director of Bob's House of Hope, my jaw was basically on the floor. Mm-hmm. So this is not something that just happens to women and girls.
Madeline, it's a lot to take in. In the piece, I just want to give you one last chance to talk about this one specific story. Like the private investigator takes you to a hotel, and you make eye contact with one of these girls. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we worked with one of Shepherd's Watch intelligence contractors who had contacted a woman or a girl. It's hard to say how old they are because, again, the gangs and traffickers use counterintelligence techniques like placing emojis over the girl or woman's face to conceal their age. So he was speaking with one of the girls who was at a Motel 6 in Plano. And, we drove there and saw the girl open the door. And directly after the girl opened the door at the motel and saw that nobody was there, a man, perhaps her pimp or trafficker, most likely, according to the private investigator, he opened the window and looked around the parking lot. So that was definitely, an adrenaline rush there. But right after that happened, we went to a Motel 6 about 2 miles away and did something similar. So when people say that this is happening in your backyard, it truly is. And that's not something I realized until I saw what I saw in Dallas.
Madeline, one quick question. This is not just happening in Texas. This is across the country.
That's correct, and that's also another very important point. So something that these traffickers do is they travel with these girls and women all throughout the country. For example, the first girl that we saw who opened the door, her profile on the website said that she lived in Philadelphia and she was in Texas for a good time. So these traffickers move the girls and women all throughout the country, and this is not something that's just happening in Texas.
Right.
It's happening all throughout the U.S.
Madeline, you're a brave girl, and I am happy to know you and want to stay in touch. It's a really important topic. We got to get better at making these people safe and making it, prosecuting the people who are doing it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dana.